So we're coming down to Cardiff now because we're able to get our aggregates from a local independent supplier, and before we get there, apparently they're queuing up outside, and they have been for a few days now. They have this queuing system. You're in the queue for approximately an hour, so that's fine. That's what we'll do. But I want to just take you down there, show you what's happening in our area, and basically we can look back onto this in the future and see how incredible it really was that all these things are going on. But there's a real moral dilemma at the moment, and the moral dilemma is whether contractors should be working or whether they shouldn't be working. And I've bounced from one side of this to the other side, and not quite sure even now. The thing is, my son works with me, so when we go to work, we're in the same household, and we're in the garden. We don't see the client. But I think the thing that we have to take consideration every time when we're out on the road or we're out places, that you're taking a risk. And I suppose the biggest risk that we've been taking, and I think Carl would agree with this, is when we've been in the shops, isn't it? Because that's where we've had a lot more people, haven't we? And when we've gone to the garages to get fuel, but we put gloves on, we sanitize, and you know, it's a difficult one. We going?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to tell me. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Like seeing all these people around with masks on as well. We've got our mask today. Well, look, I said before, I helped to run a landscaping group. We've got 20 moderators on there. There's nearly 6,000 people on there across the country. It's called Landscape Survival with Johnny Boy. It's about the daily grind, and it's not just about me, it's about all these guys. And it's a real community. And I've been saying for some time now that I haven't really known anyone personally that has actually had this coronavirus. And only last night, but I'm thinking that I was going through this process of thinking this, and one of the members on the group, and he's not quite sure where he is at the moment with it, but he's had to rush his son, his 16-year-old, into hospital last night. So a little bit concerned about that, but it does put it into perspective then, and they've been indoors and he's caught it, so at some point he's been contaminated somewhere, if he has got it. But his heart rate was going through the roof yesterday, so let's hope that he's okay today. Just made space in the back of the van because we're queuing up outside here. It takes about an hour and a half to get into this Builders Merchants here. So we want to be ready, we want to be in, and we want to be out. There are a couple in, one out. It's all very controlled. Nobody's close together. Does it work? Well, we're in. We're out now, and we've got what we wanted, and social distances was practice. Made sure I wore gloves. I sanitised the keypad before I tapped my number in, so all good. Well, we've just had a phone call now. We didn't have to come to Cardiff. There is another little independence where we can get material from. And am I desperate to get to work? Yeah, I need the money like everyone else. But my son works for me. We work in the garden. We don't come in contact with anyone. Not really, but we have to think about. We just got to think about what we're touching when we're out and about. And you start asking yourself, with a number of deaths across the country yesterday, and it hasn't flattened off. This peak that they're talking about hasn't flattened off yet, and you know, just you've got to decide whether it's worth the risk. So I don't know where I am at the moment.